Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana
Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jai Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Nittai Gaura Hari Lord Christ, Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Prabhupada Astotara Seta Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charananda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON Stapakacharya, Deputy Founder Srila Prabhupada ki. Savior of the whole world Srila Prabhupada. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Prabhupada Astotara Seta Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktan ki. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamkund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki. Brajbhumi Vrindavan Dham ki. Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Dham ki. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki. Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki. Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi ki. Samveta Bhaktan ki. Kansan Radha Krishna Vishan ki. Kansan Prashadam Vishnu ki. Yugdharma Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki. Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, goes to Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. So welcome you all for this Sunday Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam program. Now it's called Brisbane, Gauranga Temple. Today we start discussing on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Canto 5. Creative impetus, chapter number 4, entitled The Characteristics of Rishabhdeva, and the text number is 566. Yes. It's 6. 546. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya.
Nayanam namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire Rashtraprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike.
Okay, so today's verse, please repeat after me. Yasyaha Pandaveya Shlokam Udaharanti.
Yasya Pandaveya Shlokam Udaharanti.
I think this is a different meter. Sorry? Okay. को नु तत्कर्म राजर्षेर
दोनु तत्कर्मा राजर्षे
नाभिर अनु आचरित पुमान
नाभेद अनव आचरते पुमान
अपत्यताम अगाध्यस्य
अपत्याताम आगद्यस्या
हरिशुद्धेन कर्मणा
हरिशुद्धेन कर्मणा
यस्यः पाण्डवेय श्लोकौ उदाहरन्ति
यस्याः पाण्डव्या
पाण्डवेय
श्लोका
श्लोकौ उदाहरन्ति
उदाहरन्ति
तत्कर्म राजर्षेर्
कहनु
पूर्णं
तत्कर्म
तत्कर्मा
राजर्षि
राजऋषिर्
भिरन्वच आचरेत् पुमान्
नाभे
नाभर अनव आचरत
अन्वाचरेत् पुमान्
पुमान
अपत्यताम् अगाध्यस्य
अपत्य
अपत्यातुम् आगद्यस्या
हरिशुद्धेन
अगातव्यस्य
कर्मणः
हरिसुधेन
हरिशुद्धेन कर्मणा
कर्मणा
यस्यः पाण्डवेय श्लोकौ उदाहरन्ति
यस्याः
यस्य पाण्डवः
पाण्डव्या
श्लोकौ
श्लोका
उदाहरन्ति
को नु
उदाहरन्ति
तत्कर्म राजर्षेर्
सूनु
तत्कर्म
तत्कर्मा
राजर्षे
राजऋषि
नाभिरन्व आचरेत् पुमान्
नाभे
नाभेद अनव
अन्वत्
आचरत
आचरेत्
पुमान
अपत्यताम्
पुमान्
अगाध्यस्य
अपत्यतमगद्यस्य
हरिशुद्धेन कर्मणा
हरिशुद्धेन
हरिसुधेन
कर्मणा
कर्मणा
यस्यः
यस्याः
पाण्डवेय
पाण्डव्या
पाण्डवः
श्लोकौ
श्लोक
श्लोका
उदाहरन्ति
उदाहरन्ति
को
को
नु
नु
तत्कर्म
तत्कर्मा
राजर्षे
राजऋषि नाभेरनव
नाभिरन्वाचरेत्
आचरते
पुमान्
पुमान
कपत्यताम् अगाध्यस्य
अपत्यतमगद्यस्या
हरिशुद्धेन कर्मणः
हरिसुधेन कर्मणा
यस्याः
यस्याः
पाण्डवेय
पाण्डव्या
श्लोक
श्लोका
श्लोका
उदाहरन्ति
उदाहरन्ति
को नु
को नु
तत्कर्म
तत्कर्मा
राजर्षे
राजऋषि
नाभिरन्वाचरेत्
नाभेरनवाचरत
पुमान्
पुमान
अपत्यताम् अगाध्यस्य
अपत्यतमगद्यस्या
हरिशुद्धेन
हरिसुधेन
कर्मणा
कर्मणा
on Zoom.
यस्याः पाण्डव्या श्लोका उदाहरन्ति
यस्यः पाण्डवेय
पाण्डवेय
श्लोकौ
श्लोक उदाहरन्ति
को नु तत्कर्म राजऋषिर्
को
को
नु
नो
तत्कर्म
तत्कर्म
राजर्षे
राजर्षि
नाभेरनव आचरते पुमान्
नाभे
नाभिरन्वाचरेत्
अन्वाचरेत्
पुमान्
पुमान्
अपत्यातम् आगत यस्या
अपत्यताम् अगाधस्य
अपत्यतामागतस्य
हरिः सुधेन कर्मणा
हरिशुद्धेन
हरिशुद्धेन
कर्मणा
कर्मणा यस्य पाण्डवेय श्लोका उदाहरन्ति
यस्यः
यस्याः
पाण्डवेय
पाण्डव्या
श्लोकौ
श्लोका उदाहरन्ति
को नु तत्कर्म राजर्षेर्
को
को
नु
नु तत्कर्म
तत्कर्म
राजर्षे
राजऋषिर्
नाभेरन्वाचरेत् पुमान्
नाभेरनव
नाभिरन्वाचरेत्
आचरते
पुमान्
पुमान्
अपत्यतामगाद्यस्य
अपत्यताम्
अपत्यातम्
अगाध्यस्य
आगद्यस्या
हरिः शुद्धेन कर्मणा
हरिशुद्धेन
हरिसुधेन
कर्मणा.
कर्मणा
So we'll do word. Thank you. Yasya
यस्य
यस्या
of whom
of whom
अहं
ha Pandaveya
पाण्डवेय
पाण्डवया
Maharaj Parikshit
ओ
महाराज
महाराज
परीक्षित
परीक्षित
Shloka
श्लोक
श्लोकाव
2 verses
2
टू
verses
वर्सेस
Udaharanti
उदाहरन्ति
उदाहरन्ति
recite
recite
रिसाइट
Kaha
कः
कहा
who
who
हु
no
no
नो
then
then
that
देन
that
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 दैट
karma
karma
कर्म
work
work
वर्क
Raja Rishe
राजा
Raja
ऋषि
Rishabh
of the pious king
of the
ऑफ द
pious
पाइस
king
दिन
Nabhe
Nabhe
Nabi
Nabhi
नाभि
Anu
अनु
following
following
फॉलोइंग
Acharit
Achare
could
आचरित
execute
to
कुड
execute
एग्जीक्यूट
Kuman a
कुमार
Kumar
man
ए मैन
Apatyatam
Apatyatam
sonhood
अपत्यताम
sonhood
God
संहुड
Agat
accepted
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 Yasya
Yasya
यस्या
whose
whose
Hari
Hari,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Shuddhena,
Sudena,
pure, executed in devotional service.
Executed in devotional service.
service.
Karmana
By activities.
by activities.
So, the translation purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Channaram Bhakti Vedanta, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Please repeat the translation after me. O Maharaj Parikshit,
O Maharaj Parikshit,
to glorify Maharaj Nabi,
to glorify Maharaj Nabi,
the old sages composed two verses.
the old sages composed two verses.
One of them is this:
One of them is this:
who can attain the perfection of Maharaj Nabi?
who can attain the perfection of Maharaj Nabi.
Who can attain the perfection of Maharaj? Okay.
Who can attain his activities?
Who can attain his activities?
Who can attain his activities?
Because of his devotional service,
Because of his devotional service,
Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead
agreed to become his son.
agreed to become his son.
Hear the purport. The words Shuddhena Karmana are significant in this verse. If work is not carried out in devotional service, it is contaminated by the modes of material nature. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Yagnartat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Activities performed only for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord are pure, are not contaminated by the modes of material nature. All other activities are contaminated by the modes of ignorance and passion, as well as goodness. All material activities meant for satisfying the senses are contaminated. All material meant for satisfying the senses are. And Maharaj Nabi did not perform anything contaminated. He simply executed his transcendental activities even when performing yajna. Consequently, he obtained the Supreme Lord as his son. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padansi Sahagana Sri Raghunathanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostami Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Jayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation. Verse once again. Yasyaha Pandaveya Shloka Udaharanti Konu Tat Karma Rajarsher Nabher Anvachare Kuman Apatyatam Agadyasya Hari Shuddhena Karma. O Maharaj Parikshit, to glorify Maharaj Nabi, the old sages composed two verses. One of them is this: who can attain the perfection of Maharaj Nabi? Who can attain his activities? Because of his devotional service, the Supreme Personal Godhead agreed to become his son. Here we are discussing about a great king called Maharaj Nabi. And we all know why he is great king. Because he has son, the glorious son, the Lord himself appeared to him as Rishabh. So obviously, if our Lord is appearing to a person in his family, means the family is very glorious. And some time ago, I was hearing it. I was in a class. There was a discussion going on. This Bhagavatam is a Amala Purana. Amala Purana, and it talks about pure devotees, devotion and pure devotees. But this devotee asked a very wonderful question. He said, if it is pure devotion, pure devotees, then we discuss more about kings and their genealogical table, their different generations about king. Can you please explain? And obviously we are discussing here Maharaj Nabi, then Maharaj Rishabh, previously Priyavrat Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, all these Maharajas are there. Prithu Maharaj, Priyavrat Maharaj, all these Amrish Maharaj. Why all these Maharajas are there? Discussion. So he said, because kings in those days who are following, like in previous verse also says, when Maharaj Nabi could see that Maharaj Rishabdeva, Lord Rishabdeva was very famous amongst the government officials and the people among the populace, he immediately retrieved. He said, okay, I don't want to be king anymore because my son is well qualified and he's already connecting people to people. So he stepped down and he instated Rishabdeva as king. So similarly, the king's duty is in this is saying that because kings are the leaders of the society, if the leaders are not meant to do what they're supposed to do, then the whole society goes to chaos. That's why Prabhupada was not in favor of today's modern government system. He even called democracy. You know what Prabhupada used to say? Demon crazy. And then there is a dictatorship. Obviously, dictatorship is one person, whatever he wants, he does it. But actually, everything has got its own thing. If a dictator is there, if somehow the dictator becomes a devotee, then he can he can implement things. But the problem is they don't become devotees. And in Kali Yuga, where is the possibility of person sitting at that level who can take up Krishna consciousness? So what is the hope then? There is no hope. So that's why as the society, yes, as a king, he has got a huge responsibility of the whole society, the whole country. But as a human being, we are also leaders in our own way. We are leaders for our own family, men or women, those who are leading the family, they are leaders. If the one person in the family, the head of the family takes up Krishna consciousness, slowly the whole family can. And that's why this preaching movement is very important. And the more now, I've been in Krishna consciousness some time, but from when I joined, I used to hear that we should preach. Yara dika tara kaho Krishna Pradesh, Amara agya Guru ana tarai desh. Bharat Gumte Janma Yar, Janma Sartakari Kara Paropkar. So these are all slokas I used to hear. And in getting inspiration, yes, we should preach. But that time it was more theoretical. Yes, Mahaprabhu said, theoretically, I understood that we should do this. But now, as the day progresses, months and the years, now we see why this preaching is so important. Why Prabhupada was, at the age of 70, went to America. Now, today we see the dire conditions, what we are in now. We never know what's going to happen. One fellow somewhere sitting has got some crazy idea in his mind. Now, see, the whole world is upside down. Now, this is the situation Prabhupada could foresee 60 years ago. Was it not there? That time also there. But Prabhupada said these are small demons, but eventually the people who are going to come in future, they are more troublesome. So seeing that, Prabhupada took up this service of preaching. And then, again, to become a preacher, first of all, we have to be a devotee. I cannot say that you chant Hare Krishna, you follow Krishna consciousness, and I do my own nonsense. Then it won't have any purity. It won't have any force. Like one devotee says, if you go to someone with a very disappointed face, depressed, chant Hare Krishna, you will be happy. Will you be able to inspire him? So he says, if you are chanting Hare Krishna, you should be first happy, no? What happens if I'm saying chant, but I am myself not happy then? And happiness is not something, chanting and happiness, two different things. We chant, we become happy. If you're not happy, then there must be some problem with our chanting. We are not doing something which is, or we are chanting, but we are also doing something along with it. So here, the point I'm bringing to this is, we discuss about a lot of Maharajas and all Maharajas, except there are few, in Bhagavatam, there are few Maharajas like Vena is discussed, Then there is Hiranyakashipu, the emperor of this whole universe. They were also there. So those people are the examples how a leader should not be. And the leaders like such as Rishabdev and Ambrish Maharaj specifically, he was such a great devotee, such a great emperor, but at the same time very humble devotee. Now, because I'm talking about humble devotee, I was just reminded of recently there was a Jagannath Rath Yatra, and I was watching. We hear that there is a what do you call marjanam, right? Grooming marjanam, right? So obviously, we from Chaitanya Charitamrita we know that King Prataparudra used to groom before the cart of Jagannath, but that tradition is still going on. When couple of days ago when Rath Yatra was going on, there was a king who was grooming. Not only king, that's beauty. So that king was grooming only in the Rath Yatra of Jagannath, but because of the power of Prabhupada, now everywhere, the whole world, wherever Rath Yatra is happening, some important personalities are grooming. I saw chief ministers in India, they are grooming. There are one particular chief minister, he groomed, then he offered full obeisances, Dandavat. This is very rare. But Prabhupada created that fortune for all of us. So these kings, they showed that life exemplified, but as in the previous verse also we see that what is the role, if you see, what is the role of or duties of a king, it's very serious. I've just compiled few of them. What they have to do. Today, kings is just, they get onto the throne, somehow by hook or crook, and then they want to stay there. And Prabhupada says, politicians don't want to leave until they are kicked out or they are killed. And this is many places we have seen. If person is sitting there for a long time and is not ready to give up, then what happens? Someone comes and shoots. There are many examples. But the taking up the role of a king is very, very serious responsibility. And our Vedic text says a king takes 1/6 of karma of every living entity in that kingdom. So in a way, he is a very sinful person. But that's a responsibility. He's taken that. So that's why if a king becomes a devotee, then it's a glorious thing. Then those even though he's getting impiety from others, but because of his pure devotion, he can not only purify himself, but he also can purify everyone. And you're also seeing that if a king becomes a devotee, automatically everyone in the yatra or in the kingdom also become devotees. So that example from Bhagavatam you can see. But if king doesn't become a devotee, what will happen? Without naming, I know there was one state that was obviously in India, alcohol consumption was not. It is not something uncommon. You can see everywhere. So one state, one person, for a chief minister, he became a chief minister, but he's a big drunkard. He used to drink and used to, even while he's walking to meetings, sometimes he stumbled down, he fell down, people caught him and somehow put him there. Then, but still this fellow don't want to leave. Then what is the effect? You want to know? That state became the highest drunkards in the whole country. That is the example. If the head is the drunkard, what do you expect? And people now, unfortunately, India, if you say something happened, okay, you got a job, party, give party. What is party? Drink. If you are engaged, let's go to party. If you are married, let's go to party. Okay, that is positive. Even negative. You broke up, let's go to party. You divorced, let's go to. So for every, I see party means, I remember when I was young, if any good thing or bad thing happens, people used to go to temple. Yeah. Okay, today's birthday, let's go to temple. Now that completely changed. People want to go to, if someone even goes, of course, they don't go. If they don't go, but if they see someone is going, they say you are a primitive, you are not intelligent, you are not scientific. As one person, he was recently went to the Lord Ram temple. And someone asked, before this, you have claimed so many things, and he said even Lord Rama never existed. And then that's why politicians are very crooked. He turned his words. He said, actually, when I was born, I was a devotee, Lord Ram, very big, ardent follower of Lord Ram. But then I went to education. I was doing some technological studies, IIT. So I became atheist. Now I became a devotee back. So this is what politicians are. But thing is, even though he has gone, whatever reason he has gone, but it gives impact to the people in the society. So that's why if we, even His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, what he has done is amazing, particularly in political circles. In India, where there is so much of violence in the name of religion is happening, Maharaj went and gave Krishna consciousness to these big leaders. Because these are the leaders, they will help us, help the people put in right path. And that is one of the responsibility of a king. Encouraging the citizens in chanting and glorifying the Lord Krishna, about the Lord. And I have seen many temples in South India. There's a temple where you go and take darshan of the deities. When you come out, there is a big platform, and that platform is meant for Krishna Katha or Ram Katha, whatever. The Lords, they sing in the form of sometimes singing, sometimes people come and do some music performances, sometimes they even sit and give nice pravachan also. And whole village that is there, like today people after coming back to work, from work, what they do, they go, they put on this idiot box, starts watching whatever idiot things are coming. But in those days, people, their main way of entertainment, if you like, you can call, is to go to temple, take darshan, and sit and watch, hear. And imagine the whole, if you have that way, the way your day is ending, the day starting, they get up, they go to, they take shower, and they, before going to work, whatever they do, they used to go to temple. They start with the temple, darshan of the Lord, and during the day they deal honestly because they are following some ritual, some religious things. So obviously they will be honest, and then towards the end and during the day, whatever good or bad they have experiences, they come to temple, take darshan, and sit and hear a few words of Krishna Katha. See how great impact it has. People are in those days. If you look at it, people are very simple. There is no much, like today, show off is there. So much show off. Like I was brought up in a family where we had like 18 people were there, 7 bedroom, good. But now 7 bedroom, more people. Now we have people, there are 2 people, there are 4 bedroom, 5 bedroom. So the other 3 bedrooms, why you have extra? So we have guests. And if you just calculate how many days you have really guests, hardly any 5, 10, 20 days in a year. And that also now people don't want guests to come home. They meet guests somewhere in the hotel restaurant, say we'll meet here. Because if you come, then we have to do so many things at home. Now that means then you don't need big house. But still they want big house. Why? House not for the guest, not for the family of the parents, to show people that I have got a big house. I have got. So this is what people, and why this is all nonsense happening, because they are getting disconnected from the roots. When we are connected to roots, as here in the sloka it says, Yagnartha Karma Yatra. Everyone, if we don't connect our activities or results to Krishna, then everything is a sin. Unfortunately, that is what today we see in the world. People are more interested to get their own benefit, their own welfare. They don't see others. And this, I think I told before also, many people who are selfless, they are more happy than the selfish. But if you look at the the financial thing, selfish people are more rich. Selfless people not. So it is like a parent, it's a puzzle. How do you fix it? Generally, we talk about people, those who are rich, those who have got facilities, they must be happy, but they are more frustrated than anyone else. And the person who has nothing, living like a pauper, is very happy. Like there was one person who was given very one of the Indian awards. His name was Kalyana Raman something, South Indian. And why he got that award? Because all of his salary in the month, whatever he earns, he used to donate for street kids' education. He was now retired. And then one may ask that, what about his own maintenance? For his own maintenance, after work, he used to go to a restaurant and wash pots there. And the restaurant fellow used to give him some food to eat. And then, but if you look at it, he looks very thin. It's like he has no charisma, nothing. But he has, because selflessly donated whatever he has, he looks very happy. Whereas people who has got so much of wealth, recently, day before yesterday, when His Grace Radha Krishna Prabhu was mentioning, somehow the richest person in the world is now Elon Musk. Can we say? Elon Musk, right? Okay. So the Elon Musk, you look at it, he has got so much wealth. Is he happy? The first question comes, if he's happy, then why is still looking, trying to earn more money? That means something he has still not achieved. That means he's not happy. That shows that if you have got a lot of wealth also, it won't give happiness. So on the same lines, if you think when Prabhupada says simple living, happy thinking, is on that same principle. It doesn't matter how much things we acquire, how many followers we acquire, how much we have. Because we have to have a simple life. And high thinking is study of Bhagavatam. So much of high philosophical things we can learn from it, and it will humble us. And it's not Bhagavatam just for reading, but Bhagavatam is also for practicing. That's why all these great personalities of like Rishabdev. Rishabdev is a king, he's a like emperor. But in next chapter, when we come to chapter 5, we see he was living like he was like a mendicant, right? And he was naked, practically naked, and was living, lay down on one place, don't move, something like that. But he gave such a great instructions to his sons, 100 sons. And because of his empowerment, from him, one of the sons was Bharat Maharaj, who later on became the emperor of the world. So that is the power of. So these people are not just theoretically, but they are practically. They showed how to live a devotional centered life. And Prabhupada also gave that, yes, you do your devotion, you do whatever profession you are in, that's good. But at the same time, offer your results, offer your things to Krishna, and that is the success of our life. And coming back to the responsibilities of the kings, I said one of the main responsibilities of king is to encourage living entities in chanting and hearing. That's why we went to the temples in South India. They have this platform where they do nice kirtans and bhajans and discussions on Bhagavatam, and then people connect. And that is the role of a king. And I think in this verse or previous, somewhere I was reading in Bhagavatam, the king's responsibility is to see, depends on the psychophysical nature of a living entity. They have to engage in their service, Krishna consciousness. If someone is very intellectual, then obviously he can study Shastra, he can engage, he can also, the previous verse says, the Maharaj Nabi, and after installing Rishabdev, he also gave guidance. He also told, take guidance from Brahmanas. So the Brahmanas are like even our ISKCON also. Obviously, there are GBC, but on GBC there is a Shastric advisory committee. They can study Shastra. They have understood Shastra, so they can guide properly. And if someone is a Shudra, how do you engage them? Like I have seen, I'm from a place called Hyderabad, and even though it's South Indian, but the people who are surrounding all my area was Marwadis, business people. And there, even though whatever in business they cheat or whatever they do, but one thing I liked in their houses is they used to have a big house, but right in center of the house there is a temple. and Radha Krishna. They generally worship Radha Krishna or Sita Ram. Very rarely Lord Shiva and all, but mainly Radha Krishna. And its temples are there. And in their house, they employ everyone. There is some South Indian, Telugu people are there, some Marwadi people, some Maharashtrians are there. There's some Muslims, some Hindus, Christians. So when they are worshipping, everyone has, somehow they will be there. But if they are not even attending Aarti, no problem, but they give prasad. And all these people, either is Christian or Muslim, they eat, they take prasad. Now see, to prasadam, he can engage them. And they are so intelligent, they know how to use the people based on their, like some people who are honest, he puts them there in managing the finances. Some people, they can fix whatever things which are not in a right way, if it is the wrong way it has to be done, they know this fellow will do it. This is the beauty. So that's how king has to look after. If someone is very intelligent, they can guide, they can advise people, they can advise living in the subjects. If someone is like a courageous fighter, then he can engage in the kingly role, supporting the kings. And someone is Shudra, he can assist others. So like this is the job of it. This is one of the greatest responsibility of king. And in Canto 1 and 2, this has been very clearly explained. Like in Bhagavatam, I think second chapter of first canto, says Savai Pumsa Paro Dharmo, Yato Bhakti Radokshati, Ahetukya Pratihata, Yatma Suprasiddhati. So this, and then Dharma Swanishta Pumsa, Vishwaksena Katasuya, No Utpadhi Adrityam, Samayu Kevalam. So the kings will see that these people eventually, when whatever activity they are engaged, but Krishna, they connect them to Krishna. If they are connected, they see that these people are becoming devotees, then their work, their rule as a king is successful. Otherwise, they are not. That's why the kings, when they have multiple sons, they used to be very careful to instate who will be the next. If the king is the eldest son is not capable, then automatically it goes to the next one. We see in Mahabharata also, Dhritarashtra being the oldest son, but the kingdom went to Pandu. One of the reasons Pandu, because Dhritarashtra didn't get because he was blind, but eventually became king also. But because not only blind, but he was not able to manage properly. Then same thing came to Duryodhana. He want to do, but whereas Yudhishthira is more promising, more who can handle the kingly roles very nicely. So Yudhishthira become a king. So that is the job of a king, is to put the next king, and when they find that the son is capable to manage the king, automatically they retire. And this last verse Prabhupada writes, without retirement, retiring means going to Vrindavan or going to Mayapur. Retiring means after a certain age, we have to slow down on our material activities and increase our spiritual activities, where we chant more, we read more, we observe more, and we slowly detach our material things. And once the king, but for the king to bring his son to next level, then they have to give a training. That's why the kings, they were the sons. Prince used to go to Gurukul and get trained under a guru. And the training depends on the guru. They give such a training that this fellow, for the rest of the life, keeps those values very high. And then they don't stop there. Once they become king, also they have advisors. Those who are full gurus or some people, they in the kingdom, they will advise. If anything has to happen, they take guidance from the Brahmanas. And kings, another responsibility was they were very respectful to Brahmanas and saints. And I think it was when in Ramayana, when Vishwamitra comes to Ayodhya, immediately into the court of Dashrath, immediately Dashrath Maharaj gets up from his throne. He offers thrones to Vishwamitra and says, please, my dear Lord, please take the seat. But Vishwamitra is not there to take the throne of Dashrath Maharaj. He wants to take son. So they are also very the Brahmanas are also very content that they are not after all these material benefits or these facilities. They are anyway. Vishwamitra Muni experienced it anyway, but he has went there to take Ram and Lakshman for some purpose. But that is the culture. A Brahmana, when a Brahmana enters kingdom, the king offers everything to the king, to Brahmana. And Brahmanas again, they give it back to them. It's like prasad. Now we have offered, we have given you back, it's prasad. And then they rule. And whatever Brahmanas ask, king has to do it. Like when Vishwamitra asked that I want to take sons, he was very, Dasharatha Maharaj was very, very disappointed. Was very depressed. Here is my heart. How can you take it? But still he has to give. Because that is the king's role. And saints, why? Because these saints, they come, they train, they give advice to king how to rule your kingdom nicely, but at the same time how to be a good devotee, so that at the end you have to retire and then you have to go back to God. That's why they entertain all these things. And I said, when he is hearing, when he has got people surrounded who are devotees, the king will take nice, good instruction. He gives good instruction to his citizens. Otherwise, now because there is no Shastric board in the current governments, where is the point? Like recently, I was hearing one of our ISKCON devotee wrote a very nice book on Bhagavad Gita, basics of Bhagavad Gita. It was very successful. And this he gave training to leaders in India. His family liked it very much. And that person said, actually, this book should be a textbook in the schools. And he said, that's a good idea. Then why don't you have a rule? Why don't you have this government order? Then we are happy. We can send wherever, water school, one of our devotee will go and train. But this person says, this is why democracy means demon crazy. He says, if I do this, and obviously it's Bhagavad Gita, automatically the other religious people says, we want to have our religion, we want to have a religion. And then even before that goes, the politicians in the opposition, they will fight. They will make sure that it will never happen. And then he says, I cannot give you government order, but what I can do is, you do without our knowledge, as if we don't know. And you know who was it? It was the Home Minister of India. The Home Minister has got so much power, but he's helpless because it's democracy. If you say Bhagavad Gita is there, then the other religious text also should come. Unfortunately. And we also know that how king's main role was to protect citizens from external any harm, but at the same time protect citizens from falling down into the animalistic life. So that's why dharma, they make sure the dharma is going on properly in this kingdom. Otherwise, the king will go, and with king all the subjects also follow to the hell. And king's another responsibility was to punish the wicked or people who are done something wrong, criminals. Now, in olden days, there was a capital punishment. Today's capital punishment in many countries is abolished, but still some countries are following it. So I had this question also, that why it's abolished or why it has to be there. And then someone told, see, if a person kills someone, that's very grave crime. Of course, from legal perspective, this country's legal system, it's a crime. But bigger than that is crime from the point of view of dharma, which is not right. So then king, king's time, they used to kill these people, execute these people. Ask why. They could have given them punishment also, right? Then they says, see, when you kill a person, he has created a karma to be killed. If you don't kill him now as a punishment, then he will take birth again, he will kill. He will be killed by someone. So better kill him now as a punishment. That's one reason. But more than that is, if someone gets killed, someone kills, but he is not getting punishment, then what happens? There is no law. The law and order will go out of the control. And people, those who are in power, they will kill, they'll get away. So to have the fear instead the fear into the hearts of the citizens, the king does that role. It's not the king is sitting there just is taking some enjoyment, killing people. No, his punishment is like that. It works two ways. It also keeps law and order in a balance. Same time, people also, those are others, those are simple people, they are also happy. They can also live fearlessly. And another thing what Prabhupada says is, king's role is to protect cows and bulls. Today now, unfortunately, many countries, even in India, cow killing is on rampant. It supplies, it's one of the biggest supplier of beef all over the world, unfortunately. But then is that the right job of a king? No. How much karma? I said 1/6 of karma he gets. Killing of cow is very, very good. How many jarmas he has to take to suffer? And because the cows are not trained, not getting what they need, they deserve, that's why this whole, the seasons, now here we are feeling cold. In India, it is very hot now. It's very hot in July, but actually by end of June, there won't be much heat there. Even July, people are suffering. The weather is going crazy, and then when rain happens, it's like floods only. When it's cold, very cold. It's cold. So it's all getting out of control. Why? Because if the king is not doing his following his dharma properly, it will impact everyone in the society, in this kingdom. And other things like king does is collecting taxes. Why they collect taxes? Today in Australia, I heard that altogether they get 40%. If you earn $1, 40 cents is going to the government. And is that only 40%? No, if you buy anything, you are paying tax on that GST, 10%. Unfortunately, so much tax is going. And in Bhagavatam it says, in future, the time will come, people will only work hard to pay taxes to the government. Now, 40% we are paying, we are working for government. Eventually, it will be so much taxes that people's maximum of their income will go into tax. Recently, I met one Brazilian guy. He said he's doing 3 jobs. I said, how is it humanly possible? He works 7 days. So every day, Monday to Friday, he has a normal job. In the evening, he does another job. And weekend, he works. I said, then where is holiday? Then there is no question of holiday. Because in Brazil, one of his salary, whole salary goes in rent. How to maintain? And rent, it's not like he's living in a nice big house. No, he's living in a house, sharing with others. And recently someone was saying, they earn only $10 in 2 weeks. One of the country, probably Indonesia, $15 in 2 weeks, and their work is like 11 hours every day. For us, $10, $15 is nothing. That is how people get so less paid, and then they have to survive. And why this is all happening? Because there is one person sitting on the head. The head is not right, and this is all problems. And then one of the other responsibilities to ensure economic prosperity. Kings need to do that. He has to make sure that the right business are going on. The business people gets their whatever they need place or they need any resources. King gives him. Make sure that they provide this prosperity. If you have people working their job and they're maintaining their body and body with that money, but at the same time they are also getting trained by in Krishna consciousness. The king is doing 2 things together. So that's why the agriculture, crop protection, economic, the trade and economics, these are all part of prosperity. These are all king looks after. Of course, king's job is not to do, but he ensured that people are there to manage it. And the last thing for today is he accepts the responsibility for citizens' spiritual progress. And in next chapter, I think 18th verse, where Rishabdev very strongly instructs his sons that don't dare to become a king, don't dare to become a father, mother, or a husband, or a demigod if you don't have capacity to deliver your dependence. Now, that means how serious it is, taking the responsibilities. Even if you become husband and you have to deliver your wife, if you have become a father, parent, wife and kids, if you have become a king, everybody in your, and if you don't do it, you'll get karma, serious. So, I think it's 8:30. How much time do you have more?
Yes, Prabhu, 8:28.
Okay. So I'll stop here. If you have anyone has any corrections and comments, you can go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for class. That was really good. Sorry, I didn't bring my pen, so I wasn't actively writing notes. But you mentioned how Hiranyakashipu is like, we can liken him to be like the complete opposite of King Rishabdev. And then that kind of made me think, so the kings, they hopefully are trained by Brahmanas. And then I thought, oh, well, who keeps the Brahmanas in check? And you gave the example of the GBC have the Sanskrit Advisory Committee. And that clearly our governments don't have any sort of Brahminical branch, if you like, governing them. So that just made me think even more, bringing that down, if the king, who hopefully is born pious, but may not be, clearly Hiranyakashipu and others, if they fail to have those good qualities born into them, then the expectation is that a Brahminical oversight will be able to shape and guide them for the benefit of all. If we keep bringing that lens in closer and closer, then who is looking after the internal mechanisms of the overseeing branch? So who is looking after and ensuring that the Brahmanas are 100%?
Okay. So you mean the Brahmanas, who will check Brahmanas?
One of them is theoretical, if one of them is a little bit mad, but is able to hide it,
Okay.
do they permeate the rest of the Brahmanas, or is the hope that the Brahmanas will see them?
Like even see, our GBC, 13 people, one of them is committee, Shastri committee is not one person, advisory board is not one person. Even in our temple also we have advisory committee. So their committee means it's more than one. So in case if one person is going wavering here and there, so there are others are there to check. Okay. And that is a system in the king's time also. And when they have not one, but there are multiple Brahmanas. And these Brahmanas, if anyone is, the question is doesn't arise as that will Brahmana go wrong? Yes, they will go wrong, but there are checks and balances to take care of them. If they are not doing their job, if they are wavering, then their controls are there, checks are there. That has to be there. Otherwise, who will control?
Otherwise, chaos.
So one obviously there is not one person. There are multiple people. They will be there. Yeah, and they are not selected like if father is there, son is there, but they are selected on their merits. Yeah, they are selected on merits. If like when Chanakya Pandit was there, Chanakya Pandit because king was not doing his role properly. Chanakya Pandit went and warned him that if you don't rule the properly this kingdom, then I'll make sure you're out. Then he eventually brought Chandragupta and instated him as a king, and he guided him. But obviously, after Chanakya Pandit, obviously there are people to guide later. So that's not one. Sometimes, some cases there may be person will be one, but eventually it will be multiple people will be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. So you understand? So,
So here, one important point is who checks the brahmanas. Running a spiritual organization or running a country is the same because both are for the same purpose. And the king or the president should be a Rajarshi. If he is not a saintly king, if he is just a manager counting the beans or collecting the taxes, then at any time he can be cheated by the so-called council of the Brahmanas. Because if the Brahmanas are correct, then he won't be guided properly. So, but then the question is, even if the king is saintly, he needs to have the council of Brahmanas to guide in accordance to the ritualistic aspect of the Vedas. When it comes to devotional service and spiritual, the king should have proper stamina and understanding to overrule if there is any deviation from the instruction. That's why Bali Maharaj, he has a guru, Sukracharya. But when Sukracharya gave a different suggestion, just because he's a Brahmana, he's counseling. So then what happened? Bali Maharaj overruled. So a devotee doesn't mean that he knows nitty-gritty of all the rituals and everything. So, and the kingdom or any organization is a mixture of many things, the technical details. That's why he keeps the council of the Brahmanas. But the king himself should be a Rajarshi at the same time. So that's why even in our system, JBC, they're not supposed to be just managers. Raising funds and then building temples. They should be having some compassion and preachers also. That's what Prabhupada says. A proper manager is a preacher. So he keeps the Brahmanas in check. And it is king's duty to make sure all the 4 varnas actually running according to their own system. But the thing is, then the question is, where does the king get this power even to check these Brahmanas and make sure that Brahmanas are doing? So king, by virtue of his service to the 4 sections, he gets the authority. Unless he serves all the 4 sections towards Krishna consciousness, he will not have power to even check the Brahmanas. If he does that, he gets Brahmana. So that's why he has to be very serious.
thank you, bro. Yeah, it's a right point. It's a Rajarshi. If you see, we say Yudhishthira Maharaj was Rajarshi, and Parikshit Maharaj is Rajarshi. Go on to.
A king is considered to be the deity of God. The deity of God means that the father the religious principles. That's what I want. You mentioned if the king is not pious or citizens are engaging in simple activities, king will share 1/6 of simple reaction. Fair enough, because citizens are dependent upon
King.
the guidance of king. But Lord Vishnu instructs Mara literally in the same conversation that the king's fights are taking care of citizens nicely, engaging in the religious principles, then the piety of the citizens, the king also shares 1/6 of piety. So it's usually beneficial are detrimental relations. If citizens are pious, then of course the king is doing the job properly, he gets the violent balances. And vice versa. On the topic of India, our Indian constitution is very much framed within the Vedic framework. If you look at the original constitution, you'll see the many wonderfully colorful pictures of Lord Ram, Shankar, everything there. And cow protection is one of the core principles prescribed as a national animal. And if you prescribe that the cow should be protected. So it's even part of Indian constitution, and current Prime Minister is Prime Minister. But as you know, we have so many states in India, every state and chief minister, and they can do whatever they like, and it becomes very hard for the central government to manage. There are many states where they don't follow. In some states, it's mandated that cow killing is a crime. But the state, all these things happen. And I rightly pointed out, so it's sad that India is the biggest exporter of wheat, where constitution itself protects
Cows.
And his surname is Kapoor, a Hindu, is the biggest exporter of the wheat.
Yeah.
His surname is Kapoor.
So really, it's not a Hindu.
So anyone on the Zoom?
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare Krishna.
Chalendra here.
Yeah.
Today's India, there is a population of more than billion. There are multiple religions. Unlike in the past, when there were kings, I don't think there were billion people. I don't think there was many religions. There was only one religion. So we can't compare those kings with today's leaders. Today's leaders I'm proud of. We had Prabhupada. He made so many temples. Today's leaders, Modi, he gave us the Ram temple. He rebuilt the Vishwanath, Kashi Vishwanath temple, the Somnath temple. So I'm proud of it, and that's all I wanted to make a comment, that today's India is just not bad, as it is always said. There are great leaders. There are great challenges there. And I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll stop here. Grandra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Oh, Prabhu.
Very bold.
Where's Mukunda, Kumar, Prabhu ki?
Gaur Bhakta.
Hey.
There you go.
Very good. Thank you.
Mama!